Welcome to a brand new edition of the Michele Tafoya podcast. Okay, this is how the national debt and deficit blow up. I'm going to tell you how. We're going to get a little help from Vivek Ramaswamy and others, but I'm not going to get in the weeds. I'm just going to tell you that you're being taken advantage of right now while you're so deep in your holiday preparations that you're not paying attention to Washington, D.C. You're tired of them. You're waiting for the inauguration in January for things to change. But in this last little bit of time here, things can get ugly. And they are getting ugly in Washington, D.C. I don't want to cover the newsiness of this. We'll dip our toes in. But the real subject here is this is right now, we are suffering business as usual. But fortunately, I think some people are getting in the way in a great way. I'm Michele Tafoya. Thanks for joining us again. And please subscribe to the Michele Tafoya podcast. We don't ever want you to miss an episode. So if you just click that subscribe button, whether you're on YouTube or Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Salem Podcast Network, wherever you are, just click the subscribe button. We'd love to have you as part of the show every single day that we post. Vivek Ramaswamy, one of the smartest people that I've seen in a long time on the scene. You know what I mean? Like we're not talking about science. We're not talking about physics. We're talking, because you could apply that to Musk. We're talking about just overall smart and a business-like approach to life and to politics. So you may be hearing this in the background of your life that this continuing resolution is going, they're trying to keep the government funded, right? And this is when all the politicians, the senators, the representatives, the congressmen and women try to sneak in their little pet projects. And it's insane. And this is what we all want to stop, right? But see, they're trying to cram this in at the end. They're trying to make the Speaker of the House look bad. And they're trying to do this while you're not paying attention at holiday time. So the continuing resolution is like 1,500 pages. So who is going to bother to read it, right? Well, Vivek Ramaswamy read it. I'll let him tell you what's in it. Roll it, John.
Congress is about to pass a bill that blows away your taxpayer money, but they made it over 1,500 pages long so you wouldn't read it. I did you a favor. I read it for you.
It's supposed to be about keeping government operations open and providing disaster relief aid to hurricane victims, which I'm sympathetic to. But if you read the bill carefully, it contains pay raises for members of Congress, and I'm not making this up, an expansion of their federal health benefits. It contains all kinds of special interests and pork funding, including opening up a new stadium in Washington, D.C. It renews the Global Engagement Center, which is a key node of the censorship industrial complex. And the worst part is, they didn't want you to know about any of it. And that's why they made this a last-minute jam job. The reason I'm co-heading DOGE is I think we need outsiders to bring actual accountability to Washington, D.C. So feel free to call your congressman and let him know how you feel about it.
I love this. Yay for DOGE. I mean, look, we've tried this before, but now we have, like he said, outsiders, people with business acumen going, I'm going to tell you what's in here because I don't have to get reelected. And I'm going to tell you what's stupid because I don't need to worry about polls. And I'm going to tell you what's wasteful because I don't have constituents except for the American people. Like I don't have to worry about Iowa or Nevada or wherever, I just need to worry about America and this insane debt and deficit that we have. So he read it for us. There are a couple more comments I want to show you that came up that are just awesome. One is Elon Musk retweeted this. It's from Benny Johnson. And what he does is he highlights, as you'll see here, and for those of you who are only listening, I'll read it for you. Benny Johnson says, the woke continuing resolution bill mentions changing the term offender, like, your first-time offender, multi-time offender, to justice-involved individual. So no longer are you an offender, they want to say. You're a justice-involved individual. This is cultural Marxism at its finest. Let's change the language. Let's make it sound not so hurtful. We don't want to call people offenders. That might hurt their feelings. Well, if you look at the definition of offender, it's someone who breaks the law, gets into scrapes, gets into trouble. Sex offender, you know that term. So I'm going to read you this little snippet from this bill that Benny Johnson posted. Justice involved individual. This is an actual section of this bill, which is supposed to fund the government, folks. This is not a social justice bill. This is supposed to fund the government. Section 338 of the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act, 29 USC 310238, is amended in the heading by striking offender and inserting justice involved individual, and in the matter preceding subparagraph A by striking offender and inserting justice involved individual. So someone is spending their time not looking at how to run the country more efficiently, not looking how to bring down crime, but to call people justice involved individuals. Now, see, people on both sides of a lawsuit, the plaintiff and the defendant, would both be justice involved individuals. A victim and a murderer, a victim and a rapist. You want to call that person a justice involved individual? I mean, this is silly. This is silly. This is like calling pedophiles MAPs, minor attracted persons, which is, again, what the woke want to do. So this is insane, and I'm glad Elon pointed it out. And there's more to come on this front. It's just, what are we doing? What are we doing? This is why we're in such a crazy world that I want to talk to you a little bit about gold and silver and making these part of your portfolio. Because this is an example of how uncertain things feel right now. In addition to prices being up and the market's unpredictable and whispers about World War III, you got to worry about justice-involved individuals. And like many of you, I wanted to understand how to prepare my portfolio for the turbulent times that we're in. And that led me to learn more about American independence gold. Gold and silver have historically stood the test of time through wars, through recessions, through market crashes. They're not just investments, they represent stability and peace of mind for families like mine. And right now I'm holding a gold bar from American Independence Gold in my hands. It's real, it's heavy, and it could be yours when you open a gold IRA with $10,000 or more. American Independence Gold is a veteran-owned company that supports our military families and first responders. Yahoo! Plus, I mean that. I love that about this company. Plus, they cover custodial fees for life on qualifying accounts. So here's how you take your first step toward diversifying your portfolio. Do it today with American Independence Gold by texting GOLD to 717767 for a free investment guide. GOLD. Text that word to 717767. Discover how gold and silver could fit into your portfolio with American Independence Gold. Again, text the word gold to 717767. Do it now. So in addition to that post that Elon Musk put on X, Rand Paul, who is a libertarian more than he is a conservative or a Republican, posted these words: I had hoped to see Speaker Johnson grow a spine, but this bill full of pork shows he's a weak, weak man. The debt will continue to grow. Ultimately, the dollar will fail. Democrats are clueless and big government Republicans are complicit. A sad day for America. And you had a lot of loud voices chiming in about Speaker Mike Johnson being spineless in this effort. You know, and Democrats are saying, oh, Republicans are going to get in the way of a continuing resolution and it's all going to be their fault. Try to pass a clean bill, Republicans. Take all this crap out of it. Try it. See what the Democrats do with it. And then you can blame them. Because that's probably what would happen. They would not let it go. Cut the pork. This is what people are asking for. You got to do it. So it's a really interesting time. And it's something that, you know, like Vivek said, they're trying to do this at the last minute when you're not paying attention. And while you haven't been paying attention, the debt and deficit have grown to levels that are, honestly, it's a national security threat. It is a national security threat. We have to keep borrowing. We're running at a deficit. This is bad. You wouldn't run your house this way. And if you did, you'd really, really regret it. So could we just clean up the act that is Washington, D.C., like we asked for with Doge? And anyway, it appears this CR is dead on arrival right now. We'll see how it goes. But this is just something you need to pay attention to. You don't have to get in the weeds to get upset about this and make your voice heard. You don't. What you need to do is say, why are they wasting time on raises for you? There's some stuff in this bill apparently that is like truly insane. Let's extend FEMA help to the hurricane victims. Let's help out farmers, and let's not give pay raises right now to congressmen, right? I mean, really? Now? Really? Now? No, you don't deserve it. We don't like you that much. Meanwhile, Alejandro Mayorkas, my favorite person in Washington, Homeland Security, was supposed to do work on the border. We're supposed to keep us safe. And now he's telling us that China is even a bigger problem than you thought could be possible. And he said all of this to NBC News. And I'm just going to let you hear him in his pitiful central casting doofus sound tell you what's going on and the strong stance that America took against China, which is hacking another American system. Just roll the tape, John.
China has, in fact, hacked into our telecommunications providers, some of them. And the extent of it is quite serious. And I should say that in response to that, we have taken action. We in the federal government have stood up a unified coordination group, a multi-agency response to this hack. Just today, our Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency published mobile communications best practices that everyone should read, especially people in positions of responsibility in the United States government. It's a very sophisticated hack. I can't speak publicly to how it occurred, but the telecom providers are focused intensely on it, and they are working in partnership with us to remediate it.
But how long has this been going on? Months?
It is not an overnight hack. This is a very sophisticated one.
And it's still going on.
And it is still going on. And China is very active in this space.
There's a tell in his voice. Do you hear how he ends every sentence up? China is active in this space. It's still going on. It didn't happen overnight. We wrote a code of conduct that everyone should read. Ooh. Thank you, Alejandro Mayorkas. That sounds like a really robust response. I mean, China. That's the other thing I want you to pay attention to as we enter the new administration. How do we interact with China? This is why I won't buy things. I mean, I shouldn't say I won't buy things made in China. I avoid it like the plague. It really limits my wardrobe. I got to tell you, because you go into a department store, you go into Target, you go into any place that you think you want to, maybe buy some clothes. You check the labels. Now, that's textiles, and really, can they hurt us with it? Why have we given them all of the manufacturing on the planet? I mean, I dare you to go to any store, whether it's Dwayne Reed or CVS or Walmart or Target, and look at labels. I dare you. And ask yourself what percentage of those labels are made in China. And here's the thing, folks. Not because they're hacking these telecommunication systems. But what if they decide, you know what, we're got them where we want them now, America. We're just going to stop providing all this stuff that we were providing to you and the world. We're going to stop. You're going to need us too much. We don't need to be dependent on countries that are not our friends. And if you think China is our friend, it is not. And if you think that President Trump snuggles up to dictators, You remember the old saying, keep your friends close and your enemies closer? Yeah, I know you all think, some of you think that Trump is this dictator admirer. Remember that phrase. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. So with all this crap going on, I mean, it's hard to sleep, right? Are you having trouble? I was, until I started using sleep cream. I got to tell you about this product. It's really helped me immensely. So why in the heck would I be talking about a cream that could help you sleep? Let me tell you, it is a revolutionary new product made of all natural ingredients and with pure CBD crystals. And yes, you simply apply it on sensitive skin areas right at bedtime. So I'll be sitting in bed reading, and then when I'm ready to shut it down, I'll put it on my feet, the insides of my wrists and forearms, maybe on the insides of my elbows. And in a matter of minutes, you'll feel relaxed and you will get the best sleep you've had in years. I know I am, and I've recommended it to so many people. And best of all, it's guaranteed to work or your money back with no questions asked. Okay, so you're asking, how can a cream help me sleep better? And again, I'm telling you, if you want an all-natural way to sleep better, just try sleep cream. And maybe you've heard mixed messages about CBD, but I'm telling you that sleep cream only uses pharmaceutical grade pure CBD crystals with 0 THC. And it's made right here in the USA, which is really important to me. So if you think this is too good to be true, why don't you try it for yourself? With a 100% money back guarantee, you've got nothing to lose except more sleepless nights. So go to sleepcream.com, and that's sleep, CREME, like creme.com. Use the code GAMEDAY for free standard shipping. Are you ready for the best sleep ever? Sleepcream.com, sleep, CREME.com. Okay, so Politifact decided to come up with the biggest lie of the year. There are a lot to choose from. The biggest lie of the year. And I'm going to say the first thing that pops into my head, if you ask me what's the biggest lie of the year, Joe Biden is sharp as a tack. He runs circles around us at the White House. He is so intellectually on point. I mean, you are nuts if you're going to suggest he's too old or that something's wrong. No, that was not a moment he had on stage with Barack Obama when Obama had to walk him off no, that was just Obama being a bro and going over and walking him off stage. He's fine. He's fine. So that to me was the biggest lie of the year. And it was exposed, right, at the debate. We killed Medicare. But Politifact says the biggest lie of the year is when Donald Trump said they're eating their pets about the Haitian migrants. He said that during the debate with Kamala Harris after Biden had dropped out. Oh my gosh, there's so many to choose from that they ignored. But yeah, they went with they're eating their pets. That's the biggest lie of the year, they said. What about, I will not pardon my son? I will not pardon my son. Will he pardon his son? No, he has addressed this. He will not pardon his son. He won't pardon his son. What about that one? What about the overestimating the jobs numbers, and we found out there were 800,000 fewer than they had told us in DC? What about that one? I mean, there's so many to choose from, but Politifact went with that, the dogs. A lie marked a town and its residents in the name of campaign rage. It was absurd. It was consequential. Our lie of the year goes to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance for false claims that Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio, were eating pet dogs and cats. That's the lie of the year. And I'm going to say this again. A lie marked a town and its residents in the name of campaign rage. It was absurd. It was consequential. Consequential? It was fact-checked in about 3 seconds, and everyone hammered Trump, and he still won. So it really wasn't that consequential. It really wasn't. But he's fit as a fiddle and ready to run. He's fit as a fiddle and ready to be president for the next 4 years. That was a consequential lie that led to Joe Biden being booted off the ticket and Kamala Harris being anointed and losing horrendously. And then of course the Hunter Biden thing. So this is just another great example of PolitiFact deciding that the more consequential lies were just not important to them. It was the one that was absurd and campaign rage. Okay, whatever. It reminds me of another lie when Barack Obama said, if you love your doctor and want to keep your doctor, you can keep your doctor. If you like your plan, you can keep your plan. That wasn't necessarily true. And by the way, in this continuing resolution, Congress wants to be able to opt out of Obamacare and into other plans. I thought Obamacare was so good. I thought it was the answer to everything. Apparently not, because a healthcare CEO got shot because some dude was crazy enough to do that and rail against healthcare. Well, let me tell you about ShareRight. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the increasing cost of health insurance and you've had enough of not having control over your healthcare dollars, let me introduce you to ShareRight. It's healthcare done the right way. At ShareRight, you're not just a number, you're part of a caring community. And forget about paying excessive premiums. With ShareRight, you stand to save 30 to 50% compared to health insurance. Think about what you could do with all those savings. But it's more than just the savings. ShareRight ensures you have access to the care you deserve precisely when you need it, from routine checkups to unexpected emergencies. With ShareRight, your healthcare is our top priority. Empower yourself today by taking control of your healthcare costs. Visit shareright.org /Tafoya to learn more and see how much you can save. ShareRight, ShareRight.org /Tafoya. That's shareright.org /TAFOYA for healthcare done the right way. In our Wildcard Wednesday yesterday, we mentioned Pierre Poilievre, the guy who's probably going to kick the pants off of Justin Trudeau as he runs for Prime Minister of Canada. And why are we paying so much attention to Canada? Well, it's I think it's a cautionary tale. I think it's another example of how again, this term, I'm so sick of it, but how woke Trudeau and Canada have gone. And normal people want to live normal, rational, common sense lives. And those are the people they want leading them. So Poilievre addressed a reporter who asked, and we'll play the whole clip for you, but Trump is threatening these tariffs against countries that don't manufacture in America or, make trade difficult, et cetera, et cetera. 25% tariffs, which are high. And I think this is a negotiating ploy. And some people think it's just, oh no, the world's coming to an end. Let's listen to Pierre Poilievre, and you get another example. This guy's the coolest customer on the planet. And some people wish he was American, so he could maybe, replace Mike Johnson as Speaker of the House. But let's listen to this. He responds to this question. Here is Canada's Pierre Poilievre.
January 20th is a scary date for the Canadians because of the tariff that Mr. President Trump will impose on the exports of Canada. What are the most dangerous impact economically and politically on Canada? As we see, there is no clear plan how to face this 25% tariff. Thank you.
Look, we sell more than twice as much to the Americans than we sell to the rest of the world combined. The United States is the biggest economic and military superpower the world has ever seen. They happen to be our neighbor and our friends. They have a president with a strong and fresh mandate. And he's someone who is a very powerful negotiator who can spot weakness from a mile away. And what does he see when he looks at Justin Trudeau and the NDP Liberal government? He sees a ridiculous clown show of chaos, and that screams weakness. President Trump has made it clear that he wants our jobs and our money. Justin Trudeau's chaotic clown show will only help him get it. We need a strong leader who will negotiate with backbone and brains, who will slash taxes, bureaucracy, and red tape to unleash free enterprise here in Canada so that our workers and our entrepreneurs can bring home the hundreds of billions of dollars that Trudeau's socialist policies have driven south. We need to rebuild our military, reinforce our borders, and negotiate a deal with President Trump that is good for both our peoples, that makes both Canadians and Americans stronger, richer, and more secure. And only the common sense conservatives have the strength and smarts to put Canada first.
Sound familiar? Put Canada first. Strength, smarts, spine. He understands. I love that he calls it the Trudeau, the clown show, the chaotic clown show. He's branding, he and Trump have a lot in common. He's branding Trudeau as the head of the clown show. And I think it's working. I mean, you see more and more Canadians posting stuff about this guy, Trudeau. He's a clown. Everything's going to pot in Canada. And so I think this guy, Poilievre, I'll be shocked if he doesn't wind up prime minister. And honestly, that excites me because the more we can expose people like Justin Trudeau, who scolded the United States for not electing a woman. Like it's our duty to elect a woman just because she's a woman? Oh, it's our duty to elect someone who's going to represent people in America with strength and with a spine and with common sense. And that's what Americans decided to do. So I've heard from some of my Democrat friends going, oh, God, I'm so embarrassed of our party right now. Yeah. And you hear some people talking about running Kamala again. Be our guest. You don't get it. You don't understand. And I don't know how you can stay in a vacuum for as long as you are and not go figure out the issues. Anyway, that's what Pierre Poilievre has been exposing about Justin Trudeau for years. He's been doing this for a while now, and I think he's really well positioned to become the Prime Minister of Canada. And I think that's going to ring in a new era for our relationship with Canada. Instead of it being sort of a joke farm, it could be a real strong partner. I have no problem buying stuff made in Canada. I love Canada Goose jackets. They're really expensive, but boy, they will never, ever let you down. So I so like this guy. I like this guy. And I think Canadians like him too. And I think Justin Trudeau looks like an absolute adolescent in comparison. You should have given a woman an opportunity. Well, give us the right woman and we'll give her the opportunity. It's not just any woman. Good Lord. Okay, so are you going to be at the inauguration on January 20th? Salem has a way to get you there, and this is kind of cool. January 20th is the day, Washington, D.C. is the place, and that's when and where Donald Trump will be inaugurated as the 47th President of the United States. And we want to send you there. You can win a once-in-a-lifetime VIP experience to attend the inauguration in Washington, D.C., including airfare for you and a guest to Washington, a 3-night stay in the nation's capital, tickets for the presidential inauguration, and much more. Don't miss this extraordinary opportunity to celebrate the greatness, history, and excitement of a presidential inauguration. To enter, see the link in the show notes for this episode or go to salempodcastnetwork.com/Trump. salempodcastnetwork.com/Trump. It's going to be a pretty historic, eventful day there on January 20th. All right. I hope that you'll be brave and do good and pay attention to this continuing resolution, not because you need to know every last detail, but because you need to know what your representatives are doing in DC. And I'm just so glad people are exposing this more. And yeah, X is a great place to start. If you're not on X, people say, "Oh, it's just a horrible place." No. Why? Because liberals are now being exposed on X? Maybe that's why they're so uncomfortable there. They're getting the treatment that conservatives have gotten for decades. And I don't mean to sound like snarky, but I am a little bit snarky because if you can't handle the heat, I guess get out of the kitchen. But or you could do what Senator Kennedy said and go to Amazon and buy a spine. Be brave, do good, pay attention. We're going to see you one more time before Christmas, but in the meantime, enjoy your holiday season, and we'll see you next time.